Welcome back to the History of Fleetwood Mac. I'm Anita. Today we're going to get into the final episode, which would be 5 of volume 11 of my Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks scrapbooks. We're going to be wrapping up the remainder of the Tango and the Night items that I have. I'm going to start up with yet another photo session from Tango and the Night. I've shown a lot. There's quite a few professional video sessions. They could have been from the same day, but I think a lot of these were separate, and I think this was separate from many of the other ones that I've shown you in the past. I believe that these were similar to some of the proof sheets that I had. These were some alternate ones that I've had photos of over time. Probably before I got the proof sheets, or maybe even since. Hard to say. I know that these are 2 additional purchased individual ones, not from the same ones that I showed you prior. Here's another full page ad for that Kenwood. Is it Kenwood Westwood 1? That's really hard to say altogether, but I know that I've had a couple of these shown through the videos, and I know that one I had, like one I know that was cut out. I'd shown that one, and then I know I had one that was like cut in half. A couple of them because I know that I've had since high school, in books and lockers, the whole deal. Just so much of this stuff with me through the years. Just talking to my boyfriend about it too recently, and just how long it is, and how long I've had some of this stuff, and how I remember some of it. I forget plenty more, but just kind of funny to me. I really like this symbol thing here. I think that's kind of a cool little piece. This is a cool article with them from the Los Angeles Times, June 14th, 1987. Fortunately, it's kind of pre-wrinkled like that. I hate when that happens. But this had a really pretty photo that was alternate to me from all that other Stevie and Chris stuff I had, and of Mick and John. And that would be these 2 photos right here. That one is Stevie and Chris. Is just gorgeous. And that one, Mick and John, is really cool. Again, that one's definitely from the 7 Wonders video. This one could be too. Could be an outtake from filming that day, not from photography, but just from filming. But this was a nice 1-page article with them. Oh no, 2-page, sorry. Because on the back of that, we have this one with Lindsay. But it was a very thorough and, mostly just about Fleetwood Mac and the breakup and everything like that. But a more positive focus on the band. This is something, I don't know why I did this. I think when I showed my BAM collection, I might have been missing this one, and maybe this is why, because at some point in my infinite wisdom, I decided to put the article, I think before I had all the BAM magazines together, I wasn't sure what I was going to do, and I was thinking to maybe put the magazines in the pages, because as I discussed with my magazine collection, some of them, they take up a lot of room, and I want to be able to look through them more often, and I'm more inclined to look through things in the photo album than I am to pull out all the magazines. But at the same time, magazines with them on the cover, I kind of like to preserve that, and I especially like to have those. But this one I did indeed take apart and put in. And what's funny is that even though that this picture is from later, used a lot in 1990, this article is from October 23rd, 1987, so right when the album came out. And then this picture of them on the inside of the 4 of them. Well, kind of showing the split part right here, which is, I think that was Lindsay in the middle. And then carrying on with the article here with the guys. Then I think this was on the back of that, or I'm not too sure, but it was easy enough to make a small copy. And that's another reason I don't like to put magazines in my scrapbooks. If I don't have the 2 copies of them to put the front and the back, I don't like making Xeroxes, but this one did kind of work out just fine. And carries on. I had that photo, I'd shown that photo, and pretty sure I had that one. I had spoken a video or two ago about the gentleman who would run Star World in Los Angeles, and this is him, this is Dave. This was a long time ago. He is very svelte and much different looking today, but I love this picture because I just know that he was loving it. He liked Stevie Nicks, and I know this was really a big deal for him. He was I don't want to call him a paparazzi chaser, but he has a lot of pictures of him and celebrities, as he should. He's totally into that, and I love that. But I always like this one of him and her. I don't know if they just met in passing. I don't really remember talking much to him about it, like, how much had happened, or what was said or done or anything like that. But then this was a cool press photo, and the bottom part says, February 28th, 1987, a star-studded bash was held this evening to celebrate Elizabeth Taylor's 55th birthday. The party was held by Carol Bayer Sager and Burt Baccarat in their Bel Air, California home. They are Elizabeth's neighbors. The guest list included Bob Dylan, Michael Jackson, Shirley MacLaine, Whoopi Goldberg, Betty Davis, Joan Collin, etc. Singer Stevie Nicks attended the party with a girlfriend. Stevie is a former lead singer of Fleetwood Mac who now has a hit solo career. Now, Stevie recently admitted herself to the Betty Ford Clinic but did not finish her stay. I guess that was important to add. But that was the little blurb that was on the back of this picture here. I did like this tinted red hair though. But let's just, but just like that, like how cute it is. But then you have poof. Then talk about poof. This is not one of her finer moments. This had to have been so cool for her. I think she had a good time, and whoever won this contest was one lucky son of a gun. But my God, this hair, I actually, the makeup I kind of dig because it's unusual to see color on Stevie's eyes, but Lord have mercy. That is a lot of hair going on. A lot of hair. And this is Hosea Bear, I think is how you say his name. And Stevie had talked about always wanting to be a hairdresser. And so there's some contest being held. I don't know even how that came to be or came to pass, but a contest, and I believe that's the winner. And she went to Jose's studio, and Jose had done Stevie's hair, and then Stevie did this lady's hair. Obviously, probably with Jose's help. But I wish that person were around to tell their story. That'd be pretty cool to hear how that all went down. She's so petite and such a petite face, petite nose that hair it's too much. It kind of engulfs her. But like I said, having kind of a color on her eyes is really unusual, and a lot of black shadow, very different. Makeup I don't mind so much, but that hair, that's a lot of hair. Long live the 80s. Another, I wish I knew. I guess there was nothing on the cover, but this was a great article with a unique concert photo inside. I guess, was it just the popular music, Fleetwood Mac with the Cruzados, Compton Terrace. So this was something out of Arizona, obviously. So yeah, and it was just that one page here. And then Fleetwood Mac Won't Stop. Fleetwood Just Won't Stop. This is from San Diego Union on December 9th, 1987. And then this was another lady who was performing with Cheryl Cusella, named Lori Carpenter, was another Stevie impersonator. And I guess that her and Cheryl had worked together. I don't know if you were able to read that article, but I'll leave it up for a second. Which is kind of a neat side piece, again, on the going-ons around 1987 and people in the community, Stevie fans at the time. But this article, again, of them in concert. And I think these two things were just out of magazines, and then just another odds and end picture. A really nice large picture of Stevie from gathering all her gifts, which I've talked about in the past too. Then again, for such a beautiful Stevie sitting, this again was one that didn't come out. This was another one we'd purchased, my friend and I, when we were getting some of these large 11 by 17s at Book World. This was one that we purchased, and I don't know what I was thinking, to be perfectly honest. I think I just was so happy that I got something that I hadn't seen. I hadn't seen a lot of the outtakes and such at the time. And it's a beautiful photo, but, you know, she looks really sad and tired. I'm putting it the nice way. And the Stevie cleavage wasn't, you know, sure, that's just not like her. I'm sure she probably wouldn't approve the photo, is what I imagine. And having it blown up like that, but I still love it. But it goes with this one here, which is an unusual sitting for sure. And I don't mean by the way she's sitting. Just kidding. Never sure where these came out. These are definitely taken from the internet at around maybe 2000, 2001, at a time when another Stevie impersonator, let's just put it gently there, and I brought this up very subtly in the past. If anybody can think of the biggest pain in the ass, awful person, and I really go out of my way to stay positive about people, even those who I've had a bad experience with or anything like that. But this person was genuinely awful, and they were in the Stevie community and were just really tainting in the worst possible way the community. And that person had these photos at the time. And let's just say that their departure from the Stevie community was a long time coming. And when they finally went away, they went away. Might have even served some jail time. If that drops any more subtle hints there. A nice collage of stuff that I made over time, with a lot of, again, more pictures from Dean Messina for sure, as you can see on a whole bunch of them that I purchased over the years. I like this one here. Then we'll wrap it up pretty much so. I can't believe the 87 stuff is over. I just can't believe it. Funny enough, the Very Special Christmas, which if you go back through my record videos, I talk about a little bit, especially with the single. That's kind of a harder single to get, is the I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus. I think that's John Cougar Mellencamp is on side A, but then Stevie's Silent Night, anyway, on the back, on the flip side. The fact that it's on a 45 at all is kind of a rare thing. But more to the point of what I'm getting to is when the Very Special Christmas album was talked about, Stevie very seldom came up in interviews or anything, or just even, she's mentioned obviously as a contributor, but I think there was a special, I think the Very Special Olympic Christmas or something like that, the performance that she did, but I don't have many articles at all that discuss Stevie or show her in the pictures other than just her name on the album. This was possibly one of the only things, well, obviously, one of the only things that I have that even shows a picture of her as a contributing artist to it. Granted, at the time, I mean, Stevie Nicks was a big star. She wasn't, Wild Heart Rock a little time. It was '87. So we definitely have Madonna, Springsteen, other people that I guess were bigger names. But this is just really cool to have, just because she's prominent. She's as important, I think, as everybody else on the album. Not just because I'm biased, but it's a great cut on the album. It's a beautiful cover of Stevie. Stevie's doing a cover of Silent Night, and like I said, just everything else, like including this little piece that I have here. I don't even think her name is even in there. It is not, but it's just something that I had, talking about the album and all, and then just a lot of different ads that I had. But yeah, so this one was really something I was really glad to have, where she was mentioned at all. So yeah, that is it. That is the story of Rock Little of Tango in the Night. I hope you enjoyed that. And next up, we have quite a bit coming. It's not 2 volumes, I would say, but it's definitely 88, the greatest hits, going into Trouble and Trouble. Oh my God, Anita, help me, help me to help me into the other side of the mirror. And there's quite a bit there. But then 1990 for Behind the Mask might also be almost 2 volumes in itself. So looking really forward to getting into all of that. So that will be what's coming up next. Thank you for joining me for tonight and through this other volume, and we will see you next time. Have a great night. Bye.